I'm not going to let it run for 20 minutes this time.
I was going to say, I'm going to say something to you you've never heard before. It might be a little long. So.
Yeah, that sounds like something I've never heard before. It's called effort. That was good shit.
I mean, it was definitely better than the original. I liked it, yeah.
The sequel is better than the original every time.
Oh, I mean, it's like trying to say that, disagreeing that the movie's always better than the book. I mean...
Yeah, it's like Half-Life 2...
Oh, God.
...is objectively better than Half-Life 1.
Objectively better.
It is. Yeah. There's no argument. There's no subjectivity to it. It's just better.
This isn't about opinion. It's just simply better.
Yep.
Sure I never played 2. So
yeah, two's the better one because it's 2. It's like
are you
twice.
Talking 2 or are you talking Black Mesa, the remake?
I'm talking 1. 2.
Oh no, I never played 2. I never played Black Mesa either, but the first one, the OG, is still the best, and you can get fucked if you disagree. So
yeah, you can get fucked if you disagree.
That's objective, of course.
You can objectively get fucked.
You can objectively get fucked.
Objective cock.
Cockjective. Cockjectively.
Cock.
Balls. Is that where we're going today, gentlemen? Is that what we're going to be 10-year-olds?
This reminds me of when you launched the rocket.
Oh,
in
God
Half-Life
damn it.
1.
This has been my life for the last several days. Hey, Dan, have you ever heard of this game fucking Half-Life?
Yeah, it's kind of niche. You probably never heard of it.
15 fucking years ago.
By this small company called Valve.
By this tiny little no-name video game company that they really never went anywhere. So they don't even sell anything on Steam anymore. So
the Black Mesa remake is good though. I recommend it.
Yeah, at some point I might sit down and play it.
I'm sure all the Half-Life fans are listening to the podcast as we speak.
I'm pretty sure that's our demographic based on the in-depth research that I've done. Yeah, millions of Half-Life listeners. I was going to say viewers. I was like, what the fuck are they watching there, bud? I pretty much only play video games in the winter when it's just too goddamn cold to go outside.
Yeah, so. Me too. I'm the same way.
Normally he's at the gym or running on the treadmill. Doesn't have time for the fucking video game. So
got to maintain this slender runner's body.
I mean, I'd kill to have a body like yours, Adam. It's kind of the epitome.
Yeah, this is what peak performance looks like.
I do not disagree in any way, shape, or form. So
good.
Hold on a minute, guys. I gotta reboot. My sarcasm filter is full, so I'm gonna clear out that cache. So
I feel like today's theme is "Welcome to the Fuck It This'll Do" podcast.
The Bullshirt podcast, the episode where the theme song is the best part of the podcast,
and that's a real low bar.
All right, folks, I say we're done. Let's go ahead and shut her down now.
You guys have a good day.
There's no point in wasting your time, folks. No point. We're doing this. We do this for you. All right. We need a sponsor just so we can shit talk somebody.
Why don't we just pretend we have a sponsor?
Just like like Red Bull. Well, I mean, because Red Bull does bring you this podcast in a roundabout way, because I always oversleep on podcast day. And I get up and I shot down a fucking Red Bull, then grab another one and put it at my desk here and try to stay awake during the podcast.
I thought you were going to say shove it up your ass.
Red Bull suppository.
You sort of burning the candle at both ends. One in the front, one in the back.
Boof.
Oh no.
Boof a Red Bull.
Ugh.
I mean, it would work. I don't know.
It probably would work. Yep.
I don't know what the repercussions would be.
It would give you wings.
Yeah. Dan's like the only person I know that would spit roast Red Bull.
Spit roast Red Bull. Turn me into the London Bridge, you dirty fucking Red Bull.
I borrowed Dan's funnel yesterday to change my oil, and it did smell kind of funny.
Yeah, I do apologize. That was the wrong funnel.
Yeah, I was wondering why there was a... Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So, sorry
Little
about
gerbil poops in it.
It just smelled funny, that's all. It was kind of...
Tiddlywinks.
Like the narrow end of the funnel smelled a little like ass.
I want to know why the fuck you're sitting there sniffing a funnel regardless. Like,
I mean, I didn't have to. I did not have to.
This funnel smells like latex and regret. Yeah, we really are going fucking low effort, aren't we? Jesus Christ, man.
This is like...
That time in Half-Life. Shut the fuck up. Fucking cut you. Let's talk about boofing. Like, who decided that putting things up your... I mean, people put things up their ass. That's fine, whatever. But, like, what made you think, hey, I'm going to put this beer up my ass?
You know who invented that, right?
What's the backside? No, I don't, actually.
Gordon Freeman at the Black Mesa facility.
Oh, God damn it, Adam.
He was at the bleeding edge of the boofing movement.
Okay, first of all, I quit. Second of all, don't talk about bleeding edge and boofing at the same time.
He was on the bleeding edge
of suppository manufacturing.
Yeah, sure was.
Boofing, for those of you that don't know, is when you put things in your asshole like drugs and liquor and things like that to get the effects of them, right? Because your intestines will absorb all that shit quite well. It's what they're designed to do. And you bypass, the top half, the stomach and all that.
And the liver that filters the shit out. Yeah,
all that ridiculous shit that you typically use. And I'm like, was it just somebody who couldn't get fucking high anymore? So they put some coke up their ass or what? Like, what? I know guys that have snorted pills, and I'm like, okay, that's a little much, but I think I draw the line at I don't like putting things up my ass when the doctor tells me to. I mean, so I don't know that I would do it voluntarily to get high. So
well, I'm going to say that's a new benchmark for, what I consider a true addict. It's
right?
like you're truly addicted to something. My benchmark before was if you're a heterosexual male and you would suck a dick to get more of whatever in the world substance that you were addicted to.
That's
that's addiction. But now I'm going to have to add taking that rectally into that calculation.
Have you ever sucked dick for weed? Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Although I would also say putting heroin needles in your eyeballs. That was one that when I found out that was a thing.
Why would you do that?
Freaked me out. Because your eyeball is like there's a lot of blood vessels and shit in your eyeball, and like kind of when they do it between their toes, it's to hide the track marks. So people don't know. I'm thinking,
yeah, but you could do it, between your toes,
right, instead of your eyeballs. So yeah, I think it's absorption. Honestly, I think it's
weird.
Because of all the blood vessels and shit in your eye.
I could see how that would absorb faster.
Well, I mean, when I was younger, cross my heart.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, because of seeing with your eyes.
Bleeding edge.
Well, when I was younger, I mean, cross your heart, hope to die, jab a needle in your eye was a thing.
Yeah, the guy who came up with that he was a heroin addict. He was giving people
he just wanted to get away with lying all the time.
Yeah,
he's like, if I'm lying, I'll jab a needle in my eye.
You cross your heart, guys, and then you stick this needle in your eye, and boom, your eye's fuck. So, I've made no secret of the drugs I've tried in the past. When I was younger, I dabbled with a little anything that came my way. But heroin was one of those things. Well, anything with a needle, right? I'm not scared of needles, but I don't like having my flesh punctured because it's just not what it was designed to do. I'm not an off manual kind of guy, but I never had any interest in needles, and I never had any interest in heroin because you just never hear of anyone doing heroin recreationally, like rock stars and authors and uh, actors. You know, they wind up coming out. They're like, yeah, I've battled heroin addiction. Like you said, I've sucked dick. I've done horrible fucking things for it. And then I remember the first time it was offered to me. It was they called it dog food, and it looked like dog food. It was heroin and cocaine, not Coca-Cola. I don't want to get sued. It was heroin and coke, and they come in these little package, and you snort it. People don't realize that heroin is a major, like a sedative. If you were to snort pure heroin, you just pass out or fucking die. So they mix it with a speed, so you're fucking goofballing. I remember the guy offered it to me, and I was like, no, that's cool. Everybody in the room's like, let's fucking do this shit. Fast forward months later, and half the people that were in that room with me were like moving back in with their parents. They're in fucking rehab, and I'm not even fucking around, dude. Most of them wound up fucked up really bad. And it was kind of like, the fuck did you expect? Like, heroin has a long history of doing that to people. I liked having fun. I drank a little, smoked a little, but no, I don't want to do heroin with you. I don't want to do smack, I don't know, man. I just, so the idea of shooting it into your fucking eyeballs. Yeah. I just couldn't see myself doing that.
No. I was always afraid to try anything. I was afraid I would like entirely too much.
Yeah, same. There were some that I did fuck around with, and I was like, yeah, I'm never going to do that again. People are like, oh, you didn't like it? Oh, no. No. You misunderstand. That was pretty fucking awesome. And I don't want to be an addict. I don't want to suck dick for X. Solve the equation.
Solve for X.
Suck for X. I ain't doing it, man. Look, if I'm going to suck a dick, it's because I want to, okay? It's because I really like the guy, and that's just where we go with it. But not for drugs. That's just rude.
Yeah, you might cause a resonance cascade and open a rift between Earth and Zen. Then you would have to go through the rift, and you'd have to fight the monsters in Gonark, and then you would make your way to the Nihilanth. It's just a whole big fucking mess, honestly. You don't want to get started with, because it's just gonna keep snowballing.
You're the reason that bullies exist, Adam. I just want you to know that. You're the reason that people beat up video game nerds.
Yep, they weren't doing that before I was born.
No.
All me.
It's all you. You get to take credit for that, buddy. Our cadence is off today, gentlemen.
Well, it's all right.
There is no cadence. It can't be off if there isn't one.
We usually have a better cadence than this. We're disappointing me. And I'm
We're out
sad.
of phase today.
No, Adam. No, this is just another. I don't even know anymore. I just don't even know anymore with you, Adam.
Well, all we got to do to get revenge on Adam in this particular circumstance is find an 8-year-old Minecraft enthusiast and then tell the 8-year-old Minecraft enthusiast how much Adam enjoys Minecraft
right.
And then he's going to Minecraft your head off.
And then just let him go.
Yeah.
I never got into Minecraft, and that's
it's good. It's a good game.
Well, it's got a lot of elements of other games that I like with crafting and stuff like that. So I think it was one of those where I don't remember if I was really gaming back when Minecraft got big, but I think it was like a lot of things. And I do this, and I know that I'm bad for it. When shit gets popular, I avoid it. Like,
yeah, because you're a hipster.
Yeah. And that's what I hate about that is like I get into this weird loop where I'm like, fuck, it's popular. I don't like it.
That's too mainstream for me, dude.
Right?
I want to play something no one's playing.
Oh, God, now I'm a fucking hipster. Fuck me.
Yeah.
So, it's a horrible, vicious cycle, man. Horrible, vicious cycle.
There's a reason that things get popular sometimes.
No, I agree. And that's as I've gotten older. That's something because when I was in my 20s, I was really. I was a fucking hipster in my 20s. Not.
Yeah,
I didn't have
I'm
the
same way.
mustache. I was sort of a grunge hipster. I had the flannel and the boots. And fucking hated everything mainstream.
Did you own a bowler hat?
No. This was
Just a
pre bowler.
fedora. He just had a
Yeah.
fedora.
No bowler hats. No fedoras. The '90s hats weren't. It would have been the what are they called?
Trucker cap with
The
the mesh
drug
back.
rugs, the drug rug fucking pullovers, and then you had to have the unlaced combat boots, right? And I had
hats
both.
were a thing.
I don't remember trucker hats too much in the '90s.
They were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't. I don't. The group that I hung out with, we were metalheads that didn't go full grunge, but I hated Nirvana. I fucking despised Nirvana at the time. Fucking love Alice in Chains. There were a lot of good bands that came out of the early '90s. But what's funny is that now I've gotten into some deep cut type stuff with Nirvana, and some of it was really good. Like I kind of understand why some of it clicked at the time too, right? Because sometimes there's music out there, and there's been bands that I've listened to like Scatterbrain and shit like that were just, you hear the term ahead of their time. And sometimes that sounds a little douchey, but sometimes it's true. And I think movies and even literature can be the same way, where if this had popped 5 or 10 years later than it did, it would have been super popular.
Yeah, video games can kind of be the same way.
Yeah. Like any particular video game you're thinking of there, Adam?
Let's see. I think maybe like Half-Life.
Oh, really?
Probably...
Wow, that's first you've mentioned that. I I've never heard of it. It must be new. So
yeah, it kind of went under the radar, I think, and it was just kind of so far ahead of its time.
Yeah, I could see that. I hate you, by the way, just so that we're clear. I hate you. So,
Half-Life.
Yeah, Half-Life. Just skip the fucking flirting and just go Half-Life. About every 30 seconds, you just hear Half-Life. But yeah, I do think some stuff is a little ahead of its time, but I've tried to not hate on things because it's popular now, because I have missed out on some things. Come back later and people are like, yeah, dude, it was always awesome. Glad you're just now discovering it.
Yeah.
Half-Life.
Dan's going to be a huge Justin Bieber fan in like 2041.
That does remind me though of like a lot of games that I play. Like you'll like avoid it because it's popular, and then you'll get on and no one else is on because it's dead now.
Right.
And you're like, what the fuck? This game is cool, and everyone's like, yeah, but we already played it for 5 years.
Right. No.
We're on to the next thing.
I've done the same thing. We were just talking last night about how I never played Skyrim, and it looks fun, and it's my type of game. And but I was thinking about it because I told you that last night. I said, it was my type of game. I never played it. I think it was because it got popular. And like in the gaming community, people would just not shut the fuck up about Skyrim. I'm like, oh my God. And so Half-Life. Right. It'd have been 30 seconds and no one had said it. And I think, so like I said, it does, I still do that from time to time where something will be popular and I'll avoid it. TV and movies, TV especially. I don't watch a lot of TV anyway, but when people go on and on and on about a series, has anyone ever like ruined something for you, like a band or a show or video
Breaking
game?
Bad. Yeah.
Because they just wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. Like
Half-Life.
Breaking Bad. I never watched Breaking Bad until it was over because people wouldn't shut up about it.
Yeah, it was just like, I mean, I get it. I'm sure that it's cool, but could you talk about anything else? Being a musician for 20, 30 years now, you'd hang out with guys and they'd discover a band and then just wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. And you would get to the point where I could not stand to even consider liking the band because of one or two people that would not shut the fuck up about it. And then years later, you listen and you go, man, these guys are fucking good. I was trying to think, there was somebody that, one Machine Head, I did have a buddy that would never shut the fuck up about Machine Head, but now they're one of my favorite bands. I was trying to think of who it is. I know the guy. I can see the guy in my head. I know the guy I'm thinking of, but I can't think of the band that it was. Where kind of like Adam's obsession with Half-Life lately, everything would somehow turn into talking about this band, and I refused to fucking listen to him. And then years later,
That's so annoying, and that's why I do it.
Oh, I know. Right, exactly. It's and we all get obsessed with stuff where we where we enjoy something and we want other people to like it. But I think we all have enough sense that we know that that can backfire too, you know. So if I like something, I tell somebody about it, and then it's usually about the end of it. I mean, I try not to harp, because I know that for me that does not always have the desired effect. You know, hey, if I talk about something enough and I pound it into someone's head, they're going to like it too.
And then we can talk about it together.
We can talk about it together. It's like, I've never experienced that outcome, actually.
It's interesting to run into millennials and Gen Zers after they discover Led Zeppelin.
I've never had that happen, but
they act like, they just discovered Led Zeppelin, and since they just discovered it, they think nobody else knows about Led Zeppelin. It is fucking hilarious.
You guys ever heard of this new band, Led Zeppelin?
And I think we probably all have done that. As far as like, you getting into, well, not me, but I was going to say, get your parents, records or whatever and listen to music, but
it's fucking Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, I mean, it's
not something that was only popular for like a few years.
Yeah,
it's
or in some genre, some thin genre of music.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. I mean, anybody that's listened to music knows who the fuck Zeppelin is, right? That reminds me of that band. They took a bunk, Greta Van Fleet, right? And they take a lot of shit for trying to sound too much like Zeppelin. And I know there's even Robert Plant has had comments on it, because they asked the guys in Greta Van Fleet, like, who are your influences? And they never mentioned Zeppelin. And if you listen to the music and you listen to the kid's voice, he does do a lot of the Robert Plant-ish type wails and things like that. And people are shitting on him. I like Greta Van Fleet. And do they sound like Zeppelin? Yes, of course they do. Do I think they're trying to steal Zeppelin's sound? No, I really don't think they are. I think that going into the studio, people don't understand that when bands go into the studio, they start to get kind of groomed into what the record company and these producers want them to be. And when they heard his voice and they heard the way that they jam, of course they heard a Zeppelin vibe, and they're like, hey, maybe you guys should do this. And when somebody's paying your bills, as we all know, you tend to do what they want you to do, even as a musician, right? But Zeppelin hasn't released an album since like late 70s, I think, early 80s. And we're in 2020-ish now. So yeah, you're going to get a band that kind of, so what? There's lots of bands that sound like other bands. You know what I mean?
Well, I hate to tell you this, but let's say, I know AI is getting better and better, but it's not great yet because it can't write a Harry Potter story. But if you fed every Led Zeppelin track ever into an AI and said, okay, make a new Led Zeppelin song, I would actually listen to what the fuck it came up with, just in case it fucked up and got it right. That's all I'm saying.
It's funny you say that, because I think they did that. And was it Zeppelin? I can't remember.
There is AI like that. Like, they can give it a bunch of music.
Yeah. And
it'll be like, okay, they use these 4 chords a lot. And and like these notes and these scales, and it'll just come up with like a bunch of different variations, and then you just pick the one that sounds good.
Yeah, Led Zeppbot.
Oh, it exists.
Yes.
Led Zeppbot 3000.
When you said that, it clicked, and I was like, wait a minute. And what's funny, and they got a guy to do like the Robert Plant parts. And if you listen to it right, it's obviously dorky because it's AI. But the music part of it was kind of like, huh, you know? And I know that was very rambly. My Zeppelin, Greta Van Fleet thing was very rambly, but it was just something that sticks in my fucking craw when people shit all over Greta Van Fleet because they're a good band. The kids are obviously talented, and I enjoy it. And sometimes sometimes you just need to shut the fuck up and listen to the music. Quit trying to. And again, being a musician and growing up with musicians and hanging out with them, they will pick apart bands all fucking day long. And I'll do it if I truly feel the band is crap, I will be like, ugh, and I'll tell you why I think they're crap. But to just sit and pick apart music annoys the fuck out of me. And I don't care what kind of music it is, if it's rap or pop or metal.
You can
or
reduce
whatever.
anything and make it sound stupid.
Exactly.
Oh, what you doing? Plucking fucking the thing that's got only 12 notes over and over. Putting it together again. Oh, same chord as last time. It's like there's only 12 of them. Oh, same chord as last time.
Right.
It's fucking dumb.
Multiplied by every person that's ever picked up a musical instrument.
Every chord progression's been done, guys. Like, it's gonna be something that's already been done. No, he's copying this guy from 1653 who fucking made this song.
Bingo, right? And there's this comedy troupe. They were on one of those, America's Got Talent or something like that. And they're Australian or something, but it's these three dudes. One of them's like really short. I think it's like a guitar player, piano, or anyway, that's what they do. They meld. Their comic routine is melding like 30 songs together.
Yeah.
And it shows just how inbred pop music is. But you still like those songs, and you
can't blame pop musicians for finding the chords that sound good.
No, and a lot of pop music is written by ghost writers that you've never heard of, but there's a couple of them out there, and I can't remember their names, that are incredibly wealthy because they have written some of the biggest songs that have
Max
been recorded.
Martin.
What's his name?
Max Martin wrote almost every hit single ever.
Right, and he's probably one of the guys I'm thinking of when I did the research.
He's a fucking Swedish dude, and if you look up like all the songs that he's written, it's like been the hot 10 for like 20 years.
Yeah, you're like, yep. Like every fucking song, you bobbed your head to it. And people don't understand too a lot with your pop artists. Those folks come in and they get given these songs to record. And when you're a really good musician, and again, people don't understand, a lot of these pop singers and shit are very well educated in music. They know music theory and they can read music. They've been eating, sleeping, and breathing this their entire lives. It's not just like they popped up one day and someone heard them and
they did what one day?
Popped up one day.
Half-Life.
Half-Life.
It had been too long.
Right? We're going to lose our sponsorship.
I will say the new Black Mesa score is really good. So
I'm a huge fan of the Doom. Was it not Eternal? What was the one that was before Doom Eternal?
Like Doom 2016?
Might have been. Doug.
Yeah. I played the shit out of that. And
that was the one.
It was 2016.
2016.
Yeah. I don't know if that was the name of it, but that was about the time it came out. I think they just
called it Doom.
I think it was just Doom.
Doom.
Yeah. So, what is his name? Mick
Gordon.
Might be Mick Gordon, actually.
Yeah, for those of you that like metal but don't give a flying fuck about video games, just pull up the Doom soundtrack. Just play it on YouTube. It is some of the heaviest, hardest hitting, oh my God, don't listen to it while you're driving music that has ever been made.
Yeah, Mick Gordon. He's an Australian composer and sound designer. And he did like Wolfenstein 2, I think, but Doom, that the Doom that we're referring to, the video game, the fucking soundtrack for that, like he said, don't listen to it while you're driving, man. You'll go Mad Max. And I watched a video on YouTube, like a behind the scenes of how he did that. And again, you don't realize just how educated and deep these folks go into music. Watching him fuck around with all the electronic shit that he used. And some of it sounds really simple, right? And metal music, some of the best metal music out there is simple, you know, and people like to shit on that. And I was in a band with some guys for years, and one of the things that kind of split us up was the drummer and I was bass player, and the drummer and I, we were very basic and simple, man. We just wanted to groove, and we wanted people to like bob their head. Our guitar player at the time he would kind of shit on that, and he wanted to get more and more complicated. And it's kind of a common thing that you see, especially with guitar players, where when it's too simple, they make fun of it. Like it's got to be complicated and difficult and all these weird sweep arpeggios and things like that.
Well,
and I don't know. I mean, I love that kind of stuff, right? I mean, I listen to some of the...
We're doing mathematical metal now, so everyone needs to follow me.
Gojira and some of those bands that do math metal are fucking incredible, right? But there's something to be said, especially in metal, of a good fucking heavy riff.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be complicated, but also good. You can't just be complicated and think that that's going to make it good.
Go ahead.
There's Yngwie Malmsteen. Fuck that motherfucker.
Well, and it's funny you say that, because I was thinking one of the first CDs, or was it the first? I think the first real CD or album that we recorded, or that I ever recorded, was with a band, and we went up to Cleveland and recorded in this guy's studio. It was like a basement studio, and he was one of those Yngwie Malmsteen dickheads, you know. And he's like, oh, you can come open for me that night. You know, we're recording, and you can come open for me. So we got up on stage and we do our thing, and it was a small little club, not a big deal, and got some people, woo, you know. And then he gets up there, and it's just 40 minutes of, and it was like the most boring bullshit thing. He had like two fucking hipster dudes standing in front of him rubbing their cocks. And the rest of the bar was just shooting back dirty fucking looks at the stage the entire night. And it's like that kind of bullshit. The only people who like that bullshit are other musicians who do that bullshit. And then they just sit and listen to it to talk crap on it. There's nothing entertaining about listening to somebody do scales and modes over and over and over at lightning speed, if it's not inside the context of something.
Dude, I look at it the same way I look at that experimental jazz where you got four people playing together, but they're all playing a different goddamn song.
Right.
You just wouldn't get it.
Right. You wouldn't get it.
If nobody gets it, it's bad.
If nobody gets it, right. If nobody gets it, it's good. That's the point.
It. You have to be one of four people to get this.
And it's the four people playing it.
Yes, exactly.
Because I love jazz. I mean, jazz is, some of those guys are the most incredible fucking musicians, and I hear them do runs and stuff, and I go, where did your brain, how, God damn it, and then I put all my music gear up on eBay again. Of course, there's 12-year-olds that make me want to do that, so, but yeah, it's, you know, and I understand subjectivity, and I understand that music and art and all that, but sometimes, like art, when you see it's like a white canvas with a red squiggle and a black dot, and people are like, my God, it's magnificent. No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I'm in that camp that the smaller an audience that something appeals to, it's like, you know, that doesn't make you distinguished or, you know, suave. You have a lot of savoir-faire.
Savoir-faire.
Yeah, it doesn't make you cool. It just makes you a schmuck.
Half-Life.
I was gonna do it, dude. Fuck off. I wanted to do it.
Fuck you. I did it.
Half-Life.
Half-Life. Yeah, I agree, Doug. I think that it doesn't make it necessarily bad if only a few people like it, but at the same time, it doesn't make it
Well,
particularly good because only if you like, oh, you don't understand. Well, okay, that's fine, but just
Give me a
because I don't
band that only 3
understand,
people understand, and let me know how good they do.
right?
How much
Exactly.
money they make.
If the fewer people that like it was the measure of success, the Bullshirt podcast would be the greatest goddamn podcast in the world, right?
yeah, we just don't have a great PR department.
That's what it is, Doug. Is we are so avant-garde that people just don't get it.
They don't understand. Right? It's a stream of consciousness.
It's like Half-Life.
It's like Half-Life. You
it's
just don't
like Half-Life.
You don't get it, right? I'm just saying.
So I will say there's a part in Half-Life that makes no sense. They just threw it in, and that's when you launch a rocket into space. Mm-hmm. And there's like no explanation as to why you're supposed to do that.
My guess, because I have played the game, my guess is that maybe one, it was like one of those things where they had a point to it, but then it just never got, explained in the game because of budget or time, or it was maybe to explain another game or something in another game.
Because I think it'll be explained in Half-Life 3.
In Half-Life 3, right? Yeah. I've played games like that where you do something and then in the sequel it kind of calls back to it and you're like, oh, the thing, yeah. But it's fucking hard to tell,
They're like, Gordon, you must launch this rocket into space. And I'm like, why? And they're like, to close the portal. And I'm like, is it in space? And they're like, no, it's in the facility. And I'm like, okay.
And as well as I do, it could have been an inside joke, right? I mean, imagine dicks like us fucking building video games. Be like,
so what does he do next? He launches a launches a rocket into space.
Right, exactly.
Why?
So you're gonna launch your fucking rocket, Doug? Oh, is that what you can do? You're gonna launch your rocket? And a week later there's a fucking part in the game. Doug's like, yeah, they are, asshole. To get past your fucking part, they gotta launch a fucking rocket before they get to Adam's part. God damn it. So, and he's the project manager, so, that's just how it works. The world is a strange place. And the older I get, the more I realize that, and the more I just kind of accept it. When I was younger, and to this day, I guess, to some degree, but I always need to know the reasons why. And it's made me, in my career, it's done me well because it's what I do. I troubleshoot things. So needing to know the reason why compels me to do my job. But I'm not as bad in just real life as I used to be when I was younger. Now shit happens and I go, fuck, I don't know. I go about my business because I've seen so many weird fucking things, or you hear a story about something from 20 years ago and you're like, huh, so that's why they did that. Weird. And you move on with your day. So yeah, take it as it comes, folks, and don't try to figure everything out. It'll make you crazy.
Well, you remember, speaking of things 20 years later, you remember that
Half-Life
goofy song that Meatloaf did? I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Yep.
Well, they revealed a couple of years ago why he actually did that song. He was romantically involved with a woman, and she wanted to mess around with his butt and do butt stuff. And literally, he wrote that song.
I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Oh, no.
See, and there you go, right? And people have probably been pontificating for 30 years on what the lyrics of that song meant,
And I don't want to do butt stuff.
Yeah, I won't let you put your finger at my butt. I got the hemorrhoids, Alice. You can't put your finger in there.
There will be no pegging.
And I love when stuff like that, again, when people just go in depth on stuff and then 20, 30 years later, you find out, I was high as fuck. I don't know. I have no idea.
I have no idea. And people have been obsessing over it for like 20 years.
Right. And get, lyrics for songs are probably the biggest, example of that. And I think of like Tool as an example. You know, Maynard's lyrics are sometimes really out there and twisty, and people try to break them down. And it's like, dude, stop. I mean, whatever they mean to you, great. And that's a lot of musicians won't discuss what their lyrics are about. One, because I think sometimes, right, it is stupid shit, and they're like, no, I will never. That song's making me a lot of money. I will never, ever tell you what that part is about because it's about butt stuff or Half-Life, one or the other. And I'm not going to tell you about it. And then some, you know, musicians will say, whatever it means to you. And we had songs that people would, we had a kid tell us one time that he was like on the verge of suicide. And supposedly one of our songs like touched him, or my lead singer touched him. I don't know. And
in his no place?
Maybe in his no place. Maybe in his I didn't think that I wanted it their place, but maybe I do place. I don't know.
Half-Life.
But he and he had asked us, you know, like what the lyrics meant and stuff. And honestly, we didn't know. I mean, at the time our singer wrote all the lyrics. And I remember just kind of leading him into that whole, hey man, whatever they mean to you kind of thing, because I had seen that. I had seen other musicians do that in interviews. So I was like, hey man, you know, it's about what it means to you. But it is subjectivity. And again, it goes back to art and music and literature. Everybody reads or hears a song or sees a piece of art, and your own life experiences kind of tell you what it means to you. And I think maybe that's why people do like to find someone that likes a band like them and has the same, you know, kind of feeling for it, because then you realize that you might have other things in common, right? That said, I've also found that that's not true, and that, you know, oh, we both like Seven Dust, but you're a complete cockhole, you know. I know there's a band called Clutch that I like a lot, but it's odd. Every time I go to their concerts, half their fucking crowd pisses me off because they're just cockheads. And it's like, how in the hell do we all like the same band? But, you know.
I don't know, Dan. How is that?
I mean, because they're cockheads. Those guys. Those other guys.
Yeah, them.
Yeah,
those guys. But not Dan.
The nefarious them.
No.
Hey. Well,
I like the same stuff, and we're exactly the same, except for the fact that they're assholes and I'm not.
See, thank you, Adam. I'm glad that you understand. I'm glad that you can.
It's like Half-Life.
I'm glad you can see through the Half-Life and help me Half-Life my Half-Life. So that's yeah. If I think Valve should give us money for this podcast.
Half-Life.
Valve doesn't give anybody money.
Give us 10 cents per Half-Life.
Okay, I like that.
Be like me playing Phasmophobia. I would just be like, on today's podcast, Half-Life. Awkward silence. Enter Half-Life.
Awkward. Not all silence is awkward.
You guys were talking about launching
silence.
a rocket earlier.
You want to launch a rocket with me, Doug?
You want to launch my rocket, Doug?
Ever see
Penis.
a cartoon called Black Dynamite?
No, I remember a character called Black Dynamite.
Yeah, and there was a character. They did a movie. It was the Michael High White, the guy that did Spawn. He's sort of been the driving force behind Black Dynamite, but they also did an animated series, and that shit is hilarious as hell. In one of my favorite episodes, he wound up going to the moon, and he was having disagreements with O.J. Simpson, and this was after O.J. Simpson had been, Anyway, so he's on the moon, and he just picks up and chunks this rock as hard as he can towards the earth, and later on flies back and goes to his orphanage, which it is a combination of whorehouse and orphanage. Therefore, it's
lovely.
the orphanage.
Lovely.
So he's having an argument with O.J. Simpson at the orphanage, and then the rock that he threw from the moon comes through the roof and hits O.J. in the head, and he's like, "Yeah, I threw that from the moon, motherfucker." And yes, that has nothing to do with anything, so I thought I would just stick a pointless story right here in the middle.
That reminds me of Half-Life. Because in Half-Life, you could kind of say that it's sort of like the Nihilith in Half-Life, right?
You could kind of say that.
You could. You'd be wrong, but you could say it. And at the end of the game, you defeat this Nihilith. It looks like a giant fetus with scrawny little fucking legs that are just decaying. And
big brain, small peen.
Yeah, big giant head, big brain, no dick. That's why you win.
Well, that's why it's angry. That's why it's trying to take over the world.
Because Gordon Freeman has a monster cock.
Monster dong.
Yeah, it's actually written into the lore at the beginning of the game. You are Gordon Freeman, and you have a monster cock, and you're also a theoretical physicist working at Black Mesa.
Well, I think most theoretical physicists have got monster dongs. I mean, I think that's.
Theoretically, yeah.
Theoretically, they've got that in common, right?
Yeah,
I've
heard.
This is just. I feel like we're just wasting bandwidth on this one.
So, at the beginning of Black Mesa.
Stop! You must be stopped. Oh my god!
You get an achievement when you go through the bathroom.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go grab another Red Bull to boof because if I gotta listen to this shit for another fucking 14 minutes, all
right, we'll wait.
I'm not even gonna mute my mic. Fuck it. You can all listen to me go get a Red Bull.
We'll wait. I need to tell you this.
Half-Life.
Need some intermission music. Is Dan back?
9/11.
All right, so
you're just going with what works, huh?
You get an achievement.
Oh God!
When at the beginning of the game you go into the bathroom and one of the scientists needs toilet paper, so you can grab the toilet paper off of the bathroom sink and throw it to him over the stall, and you get an achievement for that. So anyone who's hunting achievements in Half-Life that's listening to this, you can do that. So. Good. Just keep that in your back pocket as you're playing through.
I was like, I'm just going to sit here and let awkward silence prevail.
Yeah.
Just keep that in your back pocket as you're playing through Black Mesa, guys.
This is very much like, so again, being on stage, and I've bombed on stage so many times I can't even count. And it's just it's a weird, awkward feeling, right? When you know that everyone's looking at you and thinking you suck. And I'm having
the same
that
thing because no one listens to this.
I'm having that, like 2 people do. And
if you bomb in front of an empty fucking venue, is it really bombing? If an artist falls in the middle of the woods and no one's around to be embarrassed for him, did he really fail?
Yeah, I mean, there is that, right? It's strange because most of the time the 3 of us can't stop fucking talking. And, here we are just sort of, piecemealing it together as best we can.
We're just stitching it together like Half-Life.
Half-Life. I can't carry this podcast on my shoulders anymore. I think I'm going to have to break out and go solo.
You go right ahead with that.
That's not going to help.
Maybe
that's all right.
Will.
You're gonna be,
but maybe it will.
It's all right. You're just going to be the experimental jazz of the podcast world. Go right ahead.
You guys just don't get it.
You guys just don't get me. I can't be held down by you anymore. I need to walk hard. I really figured that would trigger Doug, but I apologize.
That's kind of like Half-Life, honestly.
Little ASMR.
Hang on.
Wrong kid died.
What is that? Oh no, that's bad. No, that's very no. There's no. That's terrible. Terrible. That's terrible. That was not soothing at all, Adam. Not at all.
That wasn't me.
Oh, of course it was Doug. God damn it. I should have known. If somebody's going to annoy me, it's going to be Doug. That's not too bad. Yeah. Jesus Christ, gentlemen.
This is the podcast.
Come on, Adam, give me a tugboat sound effect.
What the fuck has happened? For like 40 episodes, we had some cohesion and cadence, and this one just, oh my God.
This is like the ADD Christmas special.
Almost as bad as the Star Wars Christmas special.
Almost. Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, almost.
With more Half-Life.
With more Half-Life.
With at least double the Half-Life.
Wouldn't that be a full life?
No, because a Half-Life means every so often it decays in half.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't ever fully decay. It just keeps getting cut in half.
But if it was a full life, then it would just decay completely and be done. So it wouldn't be as fun.
It just keeps getting cut in half, like Dewey
It
Cox.
never goes away.
Dewey Cox. Wrong kid, Dad. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you got, Dan? What do we do?
I am speechless.
That is a first. That is, I think we might have a world first.
I agree. I am just incredibly amused and befuddled as to how we just lost control of this one, right?
We never had control of it. We started with nothing and we ended with literally nothing. So
I feel like,
did we really lose?
This is like watching a sitcom, you know. Like,
end where you start.
This will be the episode that people are like, yeah, that's when they started going downhill. Like, well, it wasn't a big hill to come down from to begin with. So, we may want to go back to like actually doing some research on topics in the future.
Well, we'd have to remember there was a podcast.
Well,
first. And we have to remember not at 2:00 in the morning.
All right.
Like, oh yeah, there's a podcast tomorrow.
Yeah, and literally, I got up, put pants on, and came in here and sat down. So
yeah,
I'm definitely not as sharp as I could be.
Adam, it sounded like you were trying your best to do your best drunk John Madden impression.
And the thing about podcasts is they're podcasts.
I got a podcast tomorrow. Well, I mean, we were drunk on top of a mountain staring at the sky, and we're like, oh yeah, podcast
tomorrow. Shit. So sober up and go do a podcast. And then Doug, same thing. We're talking. He's like, oh fuck, today's podcast day, isn't it? We're like, yep.
Dan's like, I'm gonna go. I'll be at my computer shortly. And Doug's like, okay.
Right? Like, fucking do I? Why do I care? I don't. Oh, fuck podcast.
Yeah, that's it. That was literally the thought process.
Yeah, we figured as much. So, and that's unusual for all three of us to forget that it's Podcast Friday, right?
Yeah, usually at least one of us remembers.
Right. And it's usually Doug, honestly.
Yeah.
And this is why.
I blame Doug. Yeah, I agree.
Right, exactly. It's Doug's fault. And it's funny because, Doug will be like starting on that fucking Monday, he'll be like, it's Podcast Friday. Hey, guess what? Daytime, nighttime, Podcast Friday. I'm like, Doug, shut the fuck up. I know it's fucking Podcast Friday. Jesus fucking Christ.
But when he doesn't remind you,
then
you
when
don't
he
know.
doesn't, I completely fucking forget. So fuck me, basically.
He knows you. He knows you. That's why it reminds you every 10 minutes.
Right. I'd say all three of us are pretty good about needing a little reminder. So I do have I have an alarm set. It goes off every Friday, actually, because iPhone, I don't think will let you do every 2 weeks.
No, it won't. It sucks.
Which is dumb, right? But yeah, it goes off every Friday and says podcast ? So I would have remembered at 9:00 this morning regardless. But yeah, and I don't really have any funny stories that I can think of. At one point Doug said we should share funny stories, and it's a great idea. And I've shared a couple that I thought were amusing. And as I was stumbling to the refrigerator to get a Red Bull this morning, I was trying to determine, if there was a funny story I could talk about. I was like, man, the last couple weeks or so, ain't been nothing funny happen. Not really.
Ain't shit funny, bro. Shit's getting serious out here.
Seriously. So, at this point, I'm good with calling it because...
No. It's not an hour yet.
I just feel like we're wasting
time. We're close enough.
That's what I'm thinking.
Let's circle the fucking hanger a couple times.
Hey, I tell you what would be the best outro? Adam, why don't you play your music for 4 minutes?
Oh, God.
Half-Life.
God damn it.
Half-Life.
Look. Half-Life.
Half-Life.
Half-Life? Half-Life?
Half-Life.